My entitled mother took out a massive loan in my name. Giggling, you have a good job, so you can pay it off. When I reported the fraud, she screamed, "But I'm your mother. You can't do this to me." The bank manager held up the evidence and replied, "Actually, we can. And the authorities are waiting for you outside." Her smile dropped as the door opened. I was in the process of buying my first home, excited about taking this big step. I had a stable job, had been saving diligently, and felt ready for this new chapter. I contacted a mortgage broker to get pre-approved for a loan. We scheduled a meeting at his office downtown. I arrived early, dressed in business casual, carrying all the necessary documents: pay stubs, tax returns, bank statements. The broker, a middle-aged man with glasses perched on his nose, greeted me with a firm handshake and ushered me into his office. We exchanged pleasantries, and he began reviewing my documents. As he typed away on his computer, I sat quietly, hands clasped together, feeling a mix of nervousness and excitement. After a few minutes, he stopped typing, his brow furrowed. He adjusted his glasses and looked at me. "Mr. Davis, I see a significant issue on your credit report." My stomach dropped. "What kind of issue?" "There's a personal loan of $50,000 taken out 6 months ago. The payments are severely delinquent." I felt a cold sweat forming on my forehead. There must be a mistake. I never took out such a loan. He turned the monitor toward me, displaying the credit report. There it was, my name, my social security number, and a $50,000 debt. I stared at it, my mind racing. Determined to resolve this, I visited the bank listed on the loan. The branch was a few miles away, a brick building with large glass windows. I walked in and approached the teller, explaining my situation. She directed me to the branch manager, Ms. Reynolds, a woman in her late 40s with short blonde hair and a no-nonsense demeanor. I sat across from her desk, recounting what I had discovered. She listened intently, occasionally nodding. After I finished, she said, "Mr. Davis, we have the loan application on file, complete with identification and signatures. Would you like to see them?" "Yes, please." She retrieved a folder from a filing cabinet and handed it to me. I opened it and my heart sank. The photocopy of the driver's license had my name and information, but the photo was of my mother. The signature on the documents was an attempt at mine, but had subtle differences that I recognized as hers. A wave of emotions hit me: confusion, betrayal, anger. I thanked Ms. Reynolds and left the bank, my mind in turmoil. That evening, I drove to my parents' house, a modest single-story home in a quiet neighborhood. My mother was in the kitchen, preparing dinner. The aroma of her cooking, usually comforting, now made my stomach turn. "Mom, can we talk?" She turned, smiling. "Of course, honey. What's on your mind?" I took a deep breath. "Did you take out a $50,000 loan in my name?" Her smile faltered. "What are you talking about?" I held up the folder from the bank. "I have the documents right here. Your photo, your signature." She sighed, setting down the knife she was using to chop vegetables. "Okay, yes, I did. But you have a good job. I knew you could handle the payments. It's not a big deal." I felt my anger rising. "Not a big deal?" "Mom, this is fraud. Identity theft. Do you realize how serious this is?" Her expression hardened. "But I'm your mother. You can't do this to me." I clenched my fists, trying to control my emotions. "I need some time to think." I left the house, my mind racing with thoughts of what to do next. The next day, I returned to the bank to discuss my options. Ms. Reynolds was waiting for me. "Mr. Davis, we've reviewed the evidence. Given the circumstances, we have no choice but to involve the authorities." As she spoke, 2 police officers entered the bank. My mother, who had insisted on coming with me, turned to see them approaching. "Ma'am," one officer said, "we need to speak with you regarding allegations of fraud and identity theft." Her face went pale. She looked at me, eyes wide with fear and betrayal. The officers escorted her out of the bank. I stood there, feeling a mix of emotions: relief, sadness, anger. The following weeks were a blur of legal proceedings and family turmoil. My mother was charged with fraud and identity theft. She pleaded guilty and was sentenced to probation and community service. Our relationship was strained, to say the least. I took steps to protect myself, freezing my credit, monitoring my financial accounts, and being more vigilant about my personal information. This experience taught me a harsh lesson. Trust can be broken by those closest to you. While I still love my mother, I can't ignore what she did. Rebuilding trust will take time, if it's even possible. For now, I'm focusing on moving forward, one step at a time. A week after my mom's arrest, I got a call from her lawyer. "Your mother wants to speak with you," he said. "She's feeling overwhelmed." I didn't know how to feel. I hadn't slept well in days. I was getting texts from relatives calling me heartless, accusing me of trying to ruin her life. Some of them didn't even ask what happened. They just assumed I was the bad guy for involving the police. But I agreed to visit her. We met in the lawyer's office. She looked tired. No makeup. Hair tied back. I barely recognized her. "Sweetheart," she started, reaching for my hand. I pulled away. "I'm not here for sympathy." "Why did you do it?" I asked. She blinked, then gave the same excuse again. "You make more money than your father ever did. I thought you'd understand. I raised you. This is just helping out." "Helping out?" "You ruined my credit," I snapped. "You signed my name on a loan. You pretended to be me." She looked down at her hands. I was desperate. "The house. I took out the loan to pay off the reverse mortgage. I didn't tell you before because I knew you'd say no." I froze. "Reverse mortgage? What are you talking about?" Turns out, after my dad passed away, she started falling behind on bills. The pension wasn't enough. She took out a reverse mortgage on the house, thinking it was free money. When the payments caught up with her, she panicked. But that wasn't the worst part. "Who else knows about this?" I asked. She hesitated. "Your cousin, Mike. He helped me with the papers." Mike. My older cousin. The same guy who'd been in and out of debt for years, always looking for a shortcut. Always charming, always manipulative. I left the meeting burning with questions. I called Mike. He didn't answer. I called again. No response. The next day, I got a notification from my bank. A failed login attempt. Then another. From an unfamiliar IP address. I called the bank immediately and froze all my accounts. Someone was trying to get into my money. It wasn't just about the loan anymore. I drove to my mom's house. She was out on probation, but when she opened the door, I saw Mike sitting on the couch. "Oh," he said, smiling. "Didn't know you were stopping by. What are you doing here?" I demanded. He leaned back like he owned the place. "Just helping Auntie get things back on track." I looked at my mom. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "You let him in here after everything? You told me he helped forge documents." She flinched. "He said he could fix it." I turned to Mike. "Did you try to get into my accounts?" He grinned. "Paranoid, aren't you?" I didn't wait. I left, called my lawyer, and reported the activity. I wanted a restraining order. I wanted full protection. Whatever I needed to do, I was done playing nice. Later that week, I got a letter from the loan collections department. It wasn't about the original $50,000 loan. It was another loan, this one for $10,000, taken out 2 months before the larger one. Same name, same forged signature, but different bank. My mom hadn't just done it once. She'd done it twice. And somehow, the second one had slipped through the cracks. The second bank didn't care about family matters. They wanted payment. Fast. I went back to the police. Gave them the new information. They reopened the investigation. This time, they were looking at a pattern. Not a mistake. Not a single crime committed in desperation. A string of deliberate choices. My mother had lied to my face. Multiple times. And now, Mike was involved, and maybe others too. The loan trail wasn't just a straight line anymore. It was turning into a web. And I had no idea how deep it went yet. A week later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. A woman's voice, soft but shaky, asked, "Is this Brandon Davis?" "Yeah, who is this?" "My name is Kelly. I work at Riverstone Title and Escrow. I think someone tried to sell a property using your name." I only found your number because I cross-referenced your old mortgage inquiry and got spooked. It didn't feel right. Wait, what property? She hesitated. A small cabin near Lake Arrowhead. Someone claiming to be tried to transfer ownership. I felt dizzy. I didn't own a cabin. I didn't even know we had anything near Lake Arrowhead. Kelly continued, they submitted documents with your signature and a copy of a driver's license. But the signature didn't match the ones on your mortgage documents. It looked traced. I asked her to send me everything she had. The documents arrived in my inbox an hour later. The fake license again. Same one used in the $50,000 loan. The property listed had been owned by my grandfather years ago, something buried deep in the family tree. My mom must have dug it up. The title had never been transferred. She was trying to forge it into my name, then sell it, pocket the money, and leave the mess behind. She didn't just want to use my credit. She wanted to funnel my identity into real assets, erase her own name from everything, and disappear if it came to that. And Mike was helping her. Probably for a cut. That night, I drove by her house again. The porch light was off. Her car was gone. I checked the county jail website. She hadn't been booked. I checked her location on a family tracking app we used to use. It was last updated 18 hours ago, somewhere in New Mexico. She'd run. I called the police and gave them everything: documents, location data, email threads, and the failed property sale. They flagged her as a flight risk. But here's where things got even messier. 2 days later, I got a call from my aunt. She was panicking. Did you give someone permission to use your name for a school loan? She asked. No. Why? Your cousin Lena said you co-signed on her student loan. The bank just called. Payments haven't been made. I felt the floor drop under me. That wasn't even my mom. This had gone deeper than I thought. My identity had been passed around. Mike had probably taken my info and started handing it out to other family members, or even selling it. I called Lena. She didn't pick up. I messaged her. No answer. I pulled another credit report. There were 3 new inquiries for credit lines under my name. One from a car dealership in Arizona. One from a department store in Nevada. One from a tech company in Oregon. I wasn't just the victim of my mom's fraud anymore. My identity had become a family asset, one they all felt entitled to use. This wasn't just about revenge now. This was a manhunt. And I was going to hunt down every person who used my name. One by one. I stopped sleeping. Every day brought something worse. New accounts. New debts. New lies. The mess had exploded. My identity was trashed, and it felt like everyone in my family had dipped their hands in it. The next morning, I went to my HR department at work to explain what was going on. I was worried someone might try to mess with my payroll or benefits. Turns out I wasn't wrong. Your direct deposit details were changed last week, the HR rep said, looking confused. We thought you had requested it. I almost blacked out. I hadn't changed anything. Mike. It had to be him. He knew where I worked. I remembered showing him my pay stub once years ago when he asked for help on a loan. Dumbest thing I ever did. I had my job freeze everything. The paycheck was already routed to a fake account, but we caught it just in time before it fully processed. I filed another police report. Added it to the growing stack. I felt like I was sinking into quicksand, but something finally broke through. One of the cops, Detective Monroe, called me and said the fraud division had issued warrants. For Mike. For Lena. And for my mother. They had been building a case this entire time. The second I brought them the failed property sale, it gave them a pattern. The student loan. The stolen paycheck. The trail was long and damning. Monroe said they picked up Mike first. He had tried to flee to Nevada, but got pulled over for a broken taillight. They found multiple IDs, including a fake one with my name. Lena turned herself in a day later. Claimed she didn't know it was stolen identity. Claimed she thought it was a family favor. Bullshit. My mother, though, she went radio silent. Until she showed up at my work. She was thinner, eyes sunken, clothes wrinkled. She looked desperate. Brandon, she said, standing in the lobby, ignoring the stares. Please, you have to stop this. We're family. We're blood. I asked security to escort her out. She screamed as they grabbed her arms. You're destroying us. I did it for all of us. You think you're better than your own mother. I walked up close. Looked her straight in the eyes. I think I'm finally done being your victim. As she was dragged away, Detective Monroe pulled up outside with a warrant. She didn't go quietly. She kicked and cried and begged. But it was too late. The trial took months. Mike pled guilty and went straight to prison. Lena got probation, but her name was ruined. Couldn't finish college. Couldn't get work study. No one trusted her. My mother tried to spin it. Claimed mental breakdown. Claimed she was just trying to help the family survive. But the evidence was solid. She got 5 years. Not long enough for what she did, but enough to send a message. The aftermath was brutal. I cut contact with nearly everyone on that side of the family. Changed my number. Moved cities. Paid thousands to repair my credit. I had to start over from zero. But I did it. Slowly. One step at a time. And here's the truth that hits the hardest. I should have known better. I ignored red flags. I made excuses for people who never deserved it. I thought family meant safety. That was my mistake. And I'll never make it again. I wasn't perfect. But I wasn't the thief. They were. And now, they're paying for it.